Powered by Riverside FM.
All right, so our next guest is born and raised in Ohio, played college football in the state as well. In his 7 seasons in the NFL, he amassed 125 total tackles, 5.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. Boys, help me welcome Big John Hughes.
Big John.
Big John. All right, John, thanks for joining us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Good. Now, before we get to some of the questions that we have for you, I do want to talk about one thing. You're going to be on the Browns fan cruise in March of 2024. It is confirmed. You'll be there soaking in the sun and having a blast with the fellow alumni and fans alike. And now I have to say, we are brought to you by the Browns fan cruise. We are the official podcast of the Browns fan cruise. We will be on the Browns fan cruise, and we will be emceeing all of the events on the Browns fan cruise. And we can't wait to share that Browns fan cruise with a Cleveland Browns alumni like yourself. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about the fan cruise and what they have to look forward to?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited about it. I guess Seaside Events and the Cleveland Browns are doing a cruise, man, the first ever Cleveland Browns cruise, man. Super excited about it. It's going to be amazing. Getting to hang out with old friends, meeting new friends, and just setting sail, man. I'm excited. It's actually my first cruise, by the way, so we'll see how that goes, but really excited about it.
Me too, man. I'm a little nervous.
You don't
just because I don't know if I have my sea legs, but
Yeah, you get seasick, do you?
Oh, you said, do I get seasick?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't get seasick, but I haven't been on the boat that long either, so we'll see.
You pack some extra Dramamine.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I know that. No, but thank you. And I'm sure we're going to get back to Browns fan cruise talk here in just a little bit. But for right now, I do want to talk about you. So as I mentioned during my introduction, you are born and raised in Ohio. Can you tell us a little bit about the town you're from?
Yeah, so I'm from Gahanna, Ohio. It's in Columbus. A smaller town in Gahanna or in Columbus. Great place, man. I went to school there from K through 12, man. Ohio, born and raised.
Nice. And you mentioned that's near Columbus. You ended up going to Cincinnati for college, but during your time in Columbus, I bet it was pretty raucous with the Ohio State crowd, right?
Yeah, no, it's funny, man. Actually, I got a great story about when I went to Cincinnati, being from Columbus, and actually grew up a diehard Ohio State fan, right? So my first day at Cincinnati, Haruki Nakamura, I don't know if you guys heard him, played for the Ravens, safety. Yep. So he was the senior at Cincinnati that year. And I walked in with some Ohio State basketball shorts, and he's like, "Hey, man, like, stop me in the front of the locker room." He's like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna need you to take those off." And I was like, "Oh, man, it's all good, right?" Yeah. And then he's like, "No, you gotta take those off." And then I was like, "Oh, yeah, it's cool, man." And then like 20 guys surrounded me. They're like, "No, man, take those off." So they literally made me flip my shorts inside out, run back to the dorm, first day of practice, before I could come in the locker room. So that was my introduction to Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't wear that garbage around here.
So
no, we're big Ohio State fans, so I take that back immediately.
So going to Cincinnati, so was that something that was important to you to stay close to home as you went to college?
Yeah, most definitely. It was close enough where people could come visit, but not close enough where people could just pop up. You know what I mean? It was a couple hours away. Love still being in Ohio, of course, for family and friends, but it was nice getting away a little bit too.
That's a very nice way to put that. And now tell us a little bit about your time in Cincinnati.
Yeah, so man, I had a great. I was actually there 4.5 years, redshirted. I was Coach Kelly's, Brian Kelly's first recruit at Cincinnati. We had a great run as a team when I was there. We won 3 Big East championships, went to 2 BCS bowls, and we did our thing.
Nice. And then from there, I know you were drafted by the Browns in 2012 and ended up playing for them from 2012 to 2016. So tell us a little bit about your time with the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, man, it was great, man. Everything that around Cleveland, the sports, just kind of embodied that feeling of being in Cleveland. So as a Browns player, the fans made the experience that much more. You know what I mean? Especially being from Ohio, man, I loved every second of it. But yeah, being in Cleveland, man, it was great. I had a lot of great teammates along the way. Had a lot of different coaches, unfortunately, but it was a great time, man. Just wish we could have won a little bit more.
How many coaches did you have in your 5 years with the team?
Do you really want to know, or?
I mean, kind of. Was it 3?
So I had 4 head coaches in 5 years.
Oh, man.
Right.
Oh.
So I started with Shermer, I had Chajinski, Pedden, and then Ray.
Oh, Chudzinski. Forgot about him.
Oh, Hugh. I'm sorry, Hugh.
So obviously a lot of head coach turnover in Cleveland, something that we're all very well accustomed to at this point. Do you have any other thoughts just around like why the team has struggled like it did? I mean, it's not like we haven't had talented players come in and out, not like yourself, but I mean, if you could point to one thing that has caused or was challenging just in your time in Cleveland.
It was really just having that full program camaraderie, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So not just the players, but the coaches alike. Like I said, we had a lot of different coaches coming in and out, so it was hard to really understand and really get into the schemes that we had. So I had to learn a different scheme pretty much every year I was there. And if you look at the different programs that had the same coaches and same philosophies for years, those players were able to build in that program, and they can advance a lot better in that program. So it's just a little bit different, but yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I do know from your career, your first sack that you recorded was against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. Can you kind of take us through that play specifically? I'm sure you still remember it vividly. Was that an extra special moment for you doing that in front of all the same people that watched you play in college?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Doing it in the Bengals stadium where I've played at before, playing for the Bearcats, it was amazing, man. I remember breaking through, having a clean run at Andy Dalton, and he took off to the right, and I'm chasing him down. And I remember the linebacker afterwards, like give me dap, and then we're running back over afterwards. And he's like, "Man, that was my sack." I was like, "Man, you got to get there faster." we got to go get him, but no, it was great.
That's awesome. And I know you said there was some challenging times with all the turnover and everything else, but I mean, spending time with a franchise is obviously more than just playing football for them. You become involved with teammates. You become involved with the community off the field. Do you have a particular off-field memory that kind of sticks out to you in Cleveland?
I think the biggest one for me, I have a couple, obviously, but I would say it was the community outreach work that I was able to do in my time in Cleveland. Every year while I was there, we would I would adopt 2 families for Christmas, and it was a really special moment just being able to share that with them and have that experience and memory with those families. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. We actually do that. My sister does that every year. We do a family around here. She, around where we live, and she has a big Christmas party every year. There's like 100 and some people that come to it, and everybody contributes to these. And it isn't just one family. She has like a list of families that she adopts for the season. So it's a pretty cool thing to do. It's pretty awesome that you're able to do that every year.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Appreciate it, man.
So let's. Go ahead. You got something?
I was just going to ask. So obviously, the trip to the NFL is a long, arduous journey. Was there a point in your life that you realized like the NFL was a reality? Was there a coach, a mentor, parent, someone that kind of put that in your head that you had what it takes, and kind of when along that journey was that for you?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. So along the way, it's always a thought in every athlete's head growing up to play in the National Football League. I was that guy, that kid that dressed up as an NFL player for Halloween. You know what I mean? It was always on my number one list of goals. But it didn't become a reality, I would say, until my junior year of college. We had a couple guys that were highly touted coming out of college, and NFL scouts were coming to see them, and my coach was like, "Hey, pick it up, man. They're here to see you too. They've been asking about you." And that was like the first glimpse of like this could I could really make it here, So
awesome. And I wish I would have heard that one time, but I never did.
For most of it, the game
that's my step, that's for sure.
yeah, I wasn't that good.
The game outruns most of us.
But yeah. So no, let's shift gears here just a little bit. You spent a decent amount of time in the NFL. You were with several different teams, and kind of with that in mind and everything that you saw, all the turnover in Cleveland, as you mentioned, what advice do you have for current players, especially the younger guys, as they're kind of getting situated and getting started in their careers?
I would say for those guys to always remember that it's a kid's game, right? I feel like we, as NFL players, you get kind of consumed with how the magnitude of the game and how big it all is in the NFL and playing in front of these huge crowds. But you've been doing the same thing since you were a kid, playing in front of 15 people, in front of your parents. You know what I mean? So it's all about just remembering where you're at and what you're doing. And also just, loving the game. You know what I mean? It's a short time that you get to play this. And as you guys know, it's a small window. So being able to embrace that moment and live it in the moment. So.
Yeah. And for people that don't play football, I don't think they realize if you've never played football, just about every person that I've talked to looks back at it as one of the best times in their entire life.
It's a lifelong love.
Oh, yeah.
you can't replace that feeling.
Great insight. Go ahead.
I'll say one more quick thing about that advice, Matt. Also, major in the minors. You know what I mean? Like, it's everyone's strong and fast in the league, right? So it's about being good at the little things, right? So major in the minors. I consider myself a student of the game when I played. So it was about being the best block release, the best pursuit to the ball, like all the little things I wanted to be the best at.
Yeah, that's another good piece of advice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, like I said, great insight. Always fun to hear stories from former players, especially former Browns. But I do know that for most guys, they get this sort of second life after football, and they kind of get into their second career, if you will. So, and that's not always something professional; it could be personal. Can you tell us what you're up to today, and kind of what's going on in your life?
Yeah, so I'm actually about 3 months away from graduating barber school. I'm going to be a barber. I actually own a barber studio in Gahanna. I opened it about 4 years ago. So I kind of did it backwards, right? I got the shop first and now I'm getting the license. But I'm really excited about it, man. I've always had a passion for cutting hair. It's always been a fun thing for me to do. I've been doing it since high school. So, yeah.
No, I mean, sometimes people take different routes, but as long as the destination's the same, you're all good.
Oh, yeah.
So what was the initial draw towards that for you?
It was going to the barbershop and kind of fall in love with the culture first, right? So it was about me going in the shop, like hanging out, and it was a cool kind of atmosphere environment for me to be in. I was whatever. And then when I got older, I was in high school. I was like, oh man, let me try to find the guy that needs the hair. That guy that just always looks rough and never has a haircut. I'm like, if I can take him and make him look good, I'm gonna have business, right? And that's how it all started. Look good. Hey, I can get you together. But it started like that as a fun thing to do, then turned into a passion, man. I ended up cutting all my teammates in college, and it kind of snowballed from there.
So it's been something you've been interested in a while, then.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And then it's funny because the barbering industry has really taken off in the past, I'd say like 10 years. So it's kind of cool for me to be at this point in it now that, I'm here. So.
Well, can we move your town closer to Cleveland? Because I'm in search of a new barber here soon. So
it does seem like it does seem like barbershops and just in general has become more about the experience. Like a lot of places have like a flat screen TVs and just different some about bars and things. Like, is that kind of how your place is set up now?
Not so much. It's really geared on the experience, though. So we're like a family-oriented shop that's big on the customer experience, right? Making sure you have a great experience from A to Z, right? From the very beginning when you book till the end when you're writing your great review, right? So
awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. And then I've heard that you're soon to have, I think it's your third child. Is that correct? I know Kenny and I are recent new dad. So shout out to you for that. Do you want to shout out anybody?
Yeah, shout out my beautiful wife for having our third baby, man. I'm extremely excited. Little boy. So we'll see.
Congrats.
All right. So what are you up to? You got a boy? Do you have more boys or is it?
Yeah. So I have a 9-year-old boy, 2-year-old daughter, and then I have my newborn boy.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Congratulations, by the way.
I would just say that you're an incredibly tough man, which we know that you're Big John Hughes, but I mean, I'm pulling my hair out already, and we're only 2 months in. So, congrats to you.
It's a process you got to lean into.
I got to tell you, I think we're probably all in agreement that the first 6 months is probably the toughest, and then after that, it gets a little bit easier. So,
oh yeah, most definitely agree with that. The first 6, man, you got to figure it out.
So one more thing here. Are you still involved with the game at all?
Not so much as I was. I was coaching the first 2 years when I got out of when I retired at my high school at Gahanna Lincoln, and after that, I kind of took a step back from football just to be a dad, be a family man, and raise my kids. So.
No, and I think for a lot of people, that's actually the best thing you could possibly do. There's nothing more important in a child's life than to have their parent there for them. So that's a great thing for you to do. And then kind of changing gears here, I just want to get back a little bit to the time that we're all going to get to share on the open ocean. A couple amazing stops along the way in March of 2024. So let's talk about some of the things that everyone should look forward to on the inaugural Browns fan cruise here. So first of all, what is the event or activity that you yourself are most looking forward to?
Man, I can't say it's a specific activity or event. I'm really excited to meet all the new people and really get to hang out with my teammates again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just ready for a good time on the boat, man. Saw a couple of the destinations, man. I'm excited about the Bahamas. Never been, heard a lot of great things, and pretty excited to experience it for myself. So,
yeah, I know the Bahamas and Jamaica are the two.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of beaches in general, but I'm also pretty clear, and I'm probably going to get really burnt. So that's the part that I'm not looking forward to. But what event or activity do you think that the fans should be most excited about?
Oh man, so the signings are going to be great, man. And I know the guys are going to be excited to hang out with everyone and sign autographs and just the meet and greet. You know, there's always that rope in between us and the fans, so we get to hang out and really get to know each other.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, like you said, we'll be, instead of that rope blocking everybody off, they'll be able to get right in there, shake your hand, say hi, those types of things, and show their true appreciation for, everything you did as a Cleveland Brown.
Most definitely.
But I also know that there is a competition for the Browns backers organizations out there. So let me just go over some of the things that the winning chapter will get. The chapter with most bookings will get an all expenses paid balcony cabin for 2 on the Browns fan cruise. The chapter with the highest members to bookings ratio also gets an all expenses paid ocean view cabin for 2. All members of the winning chapter will receive a specialty dining pass for 2 guests, and all members of the winning chapter will receive a Browns fan cruise commemorative Cleveland Browns autographed football. So with that in mind, and all these guys, all these Browns backers groups fighting for who's going to be the best and who's going to have the most bookings, do you have anything you want to say to Browns backers across the nation and across the world for that matter, specifically?
Yeah, hey, Browns backer chapters, man. I love everything you guys do, man. I remember going to all the different appearances throughout my career, man, and how excited you guys were, man. You guys do an amazing job, and this is an event you don't want to miss. This cruise is going to be amazing, and it's the first one. You have a chance to be a part of history, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's a big deal, man. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a great time.
Absolutely. And with that, do you have any final words for the rest of Browns Nation?
Just here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Go, Brownies. Here we go.
Love it.
That's what we like to hear. So, and I guess final question here, Kenny.
Yeah, just obviously we're at the start of the season here. Do you have any thoughts, expectations for this Browns team?
Man, I expect us to get this AFC North, man. I'm excited about what this team's bringing to the table, and I feel like that's the first standard you got to set is winning your conference, man. So I feel like we're going to do it, man, and I'm expecting big things from this team this year.
Hell yes. If we win the AFC North, this is going to be one hell of a Browns cruise, let me tell you.
And if we don't, it's still going to be one hell of a Browns cruise.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's going to be good no matter what.
The Browns cruise is going to be great. I was going to say my wife's a Bengals fan, unfortunately, so it'll be a great time for me and my household. So,
John, what are we going to do about that? How come you haven't converted her yet?
Yeah, it's been
it's tough, man. Her dad's a Browns or Bengals fan, so it's one of those things, man.
8:28 p.m.
Siri's talking in our headphones here, but that's okay. No, we really appreciate you joining us, John. It's been a pleasure. We've had such a great time, and we really can't wait to see you on the Cleveland Browns fan cruise.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I had a great time too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Big John Hughes.
I'm John Hughes, and you're listening to Burning River Sportscast. Go Browns.
Man, Big John Hughes, huh?
Big John Hughes, huh?
Yeah.
Big gulps, huh?
Yeah. No, it was great talking to John Hughes. That was fantastic, man. Probably my favorite part about what we do is talking to alum. Maybe the Browns back. It's probably the alum.
Sponsor chicks.
Yeah, that too. We get paid.
Look, John Hughes.
He's big.
He's big. John Hughes is a rock star. John Hughes coming on the Cleveland Browns fan cruise. You should too.
Big John Hughes is not as big as he once was, but he's as big once as he ever was.
Big John Hughes rhymes with Cleveland Browns fan cruise.
That's true. Come and meet Big John Hughes on the Cleveland Browns fan cruise.